Hi! Welcome back to the Kitsu Den. I'm Kitsu, and here I dive deep into anime episodes with summaries and kid dialogues. If you love reliving your favorite scenes or catching up on what you missed, you're in the right place. Today, we are diving back into the world of Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun. So let me catch you up on what happened last time. We left off with Nene-chan making her way to the library in search of more information about Hanako. But things took a twist when she ran into Sakura. Sakura had some intriguing advice. If Nene-chan really wants to know about Hanako, she should check out the 5th of the 7 wonders. Now, here's the scoop on the 4 o'clock library. It's said to hold records of everyone's time at the school, covering both the past and future. Sounds mysterious, right? But a word of caution for anyone planning to visit this library. It's got 3 kinds of books. First, you got the white books, which are all about living people. Then, there are the black books that talk about those who have passed away. But here's where it gets really spooky. The red books are the ones you absolutely should not read. Nene-chan decides to tag along with Ko to look for the 4 o'clock library. As they are wandering around searching for the entries, they share these adorable moments, both excited about learning more about Hanako. Just as they're getting lost in their conversation, a butterfly flutters by and gets Nene-chan's attention. She can't resist and starts chasing after it. The butterfly lands on a book, and out of nowhere, a door pops up. They both glance at each other and slip through, landing right inside the 4 o'clock library. Once inside, they start their mission to find Hanako's book, which is supposed to be black. But then, another butterfly shows up, and Nene-chan follows it again. This time, it lands on a white book with her name on the cover. Intrigued, she opens it up and discovers that the entire story of her life is written there. Among all this, she finds a poem she wrote about Hanako. From that awkward day, he pretended to confess to her. As she flips through the page, she stumbles upon a red page labeled Future. Curious about what I might reveal about Hanako, she turns the page and a strange red liquid, I'm guessing it's blood, starts to leak out, staining some of the page. She sees a flash of her first date, only to learn it went south fast when her date bluntly said, I'm sorry, it won't work. Your legs are just too fat. Poor Nene-chan. Naturally, she feels pretty upset, but tries to shift her focus back to Hanako. Next, she thinks she's on the brink of discovering the true identity of the Wonder Number 7. She finds out about his true name, but it is not revealed just yet. The mysterious liquid begins to drip onto her. She's on the edge of finding out more when suddenly the book bursts into a vivid red, and out jumps this ghostly monster that looks a lot like Nene-chan. Thank goodness Ko is right there to save her. Ko tries to fight the monster by shooting lightning from his staff, but guess what? It totally backfires because Hanako had put a seal on it the day they fought before, and he forgot. Even the monster is confused and looking around like, what was that? Just as Ko is losing his patience and calling out Hanako's name in frustration, guess who shows up? Hanako himself, casually saying, did you call? Promptly takes care of the monster for him. So there's this moment when Hanako is trying to pull Nene-chan away from Ko, and honestly, it really seems like he's a bit jealous. Ko looks surprised and goes, what? While Hanako jumps in and hugs Nene-chan, saying in this suspicious tone, nothing. Seriously, it's moments like this that make them look adorable together. I totally forgot for a second that Hanako is actually a ghost. Just then, out of nowhere, their teacher, Tsuchigomoru-sensei, shows up. He's clearly not happy about the book mess they made, and Ko and Nene-chan are totally taken aback to find him in the 4 o'clock library. And by the way, Tsuchigomoru-sensei is voiced by Kenjiro Tsuda in Japanese. If you know, you know. Then, things take an even crazier turn. The same monster that Nene-chan saw before suddenly appears behind Tsuchigomoru-sensei. But in a weird, spooky way. Out of nowhere, this creepy hand lunges out and crushes the monster, releasing a flurry of butterflies from its squishy body. Tsuchigomoru-sensei then gets all serious, telling them to stop their chatter and that he hates kids. He grabs both Ko and Nene-chan, telling them that the book is red, which means they've seen the future. He looks pretty intimidating until Hanako pokes in and tells him not to mess with them. Then, Hanako introduced Tsuchigamori-sensei as Wonder number 5 of the 4 o'clock library. And he's kind of a spider. This freaks Ko and Nene-chan out because they never thought their teacher could be an apparition. Tsuchigamori-sensei casually mentions that it's not uncommon. Some of these students might not even be a human. Hanako reassures them that it's all good since they are there to keep things safe. Just then, Yak shows up, claiming Hanako summoned her. Hanako explains that while they might seem scary, the 7 wonders work together to keep the peace in the school. And he's the leader. Then Hanako drops another bombshell. It seems that one of the 7 is a traitor. They form a bond with a human and are spreading rumors about apparitions, changing to serve their needs, just like number 2 became a victim. Tsuchigamori-sensei chimes in saying that while small fry apparitions are one thing, if someone can alter the rumors about a wonder, then that means it's a human connected to a wonder. Like Nene-chan. So, Hanako comes up with this wild idea to temporarily get rid of all 7 wonders. He figures that if they destroy the Yorishiro, they can make the wonder powerless, which would mean they wouldn't have to hunt down the traitor or worry about anyone losing control. He turns to Tsuchigamori-sensei and asks for his Yorishiro. But he demands they reveal their personal secrets. If they refuse, he threatens to spill their most embarrassing secrets over the PA system. So Nene-chan starts sharing her secret from her junior high days. She kept an exchange diary addressed to her imaginary boyfriend. But then, Tsuchigamori-sensei gives her a rather low score of 3. He insists she's lying because, well, she still has the diary. To prove his point, he reads aloud one of her latest entries. Dear Teru-senpai, you look so handsome today while addressing the school assembly as the student council president. But seriously, you shouldn't stare at me like that. Our relationship is supposed to be a secret. Sure, there was a school assembly, but the rest? Total fantasy land. Nene-chan just can't help being a little delulu. Then Ko, who seems completely unfazed, casually says, You've been writing an exchange diary with my brother? Next up is Ko's turn, and he reveals that he has this irrational fear of the Setsubun Oni masks. For some context, Setsubun is this festival right before spring, celebrated with these Oni masks, and people throw roasted soybeans at the person wearing them while shouting, Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi, which means demons out, good fortunes in. But Tsuchigamori-sensei doesn't seem bothered by Ko's confession at all. Frustrated with the whole situation, Ko nudges Hanako to share his secrets too. Hanako tentatively asks Tsuchigamori-sensei if he wants to know, but Tsuchigamori-sensei looks at him like he's half terrified and flat out says no, thinking to himself, I know enough already. But Ko and Nene-chan think that's just unfair and push Hanako for something. Eventually, he shyly admits, I like plain homemade donuts. It's so simple but oddly sweet. In a playful mood, Tsuchigamori-sensei pretends to threaten that time is up only to reveal he was joking. Tsuchigamori-sensei might look intimidating, but he has a gentle side. Then he pulls a string on one of the lamps and bam! The bookshelf splits in half, revealing a dark passage that looks like it leads to a cave. He tells them that only the Kanagi can go beyond that point to destroy the Yorishiro. Now, here's a little explanation. Kanagi is a term for a Shinto shrine maiden, someone who communicates between the kami, gods, and the human world. It all makes sense since Nene-chan is the only one who can take on the Yorishiros. In the anime, they refer to her as a priestess. So, Nene-chan enters the cave along with Tsuchigamori-sensei. He looks a bit worried and asks her how things are going with Hanako. She replies that even though he's mean and she gets angry from time to time, he's always protecting her and he's kind. She thinks of him as a friend. Nene-chan, curious and a bit anxious herself, asks if it's even possible to change what's written in those books from the 4 o'clock library. Tsuchigamori-sensei tells her that, honestly, change it is pretty much impossible. But then he surprises her by saying that he once witnessed a moment when the future actually changed. As they keep walking, they stumble into a room filled with stunning gems. Nene-chan asks which one belongs to him, but instead he pulls out this plain, dull rock he's been keeping with him. It's not what to expect at all. He explained that this particular rock is special because it was given to him by the one person he saw who actually altered the future written in his book. And it calls it a moon rock. Tsuchigamori-sensei goes on and on to share that he received this rock the day after humans first traveled to the moon. He describes a guy who gave it to him, saying he was just an everyday human who loved the stars and was a bit awkward with his words, never did particularly well in school. Then Nene-chan removes the seal. And suddenly she's thrown into this flashback from July 22nd, a day marked with Apollo 11 on the blackboard. In this memory, we see Tsuchigamori-sensei tending to a student who's full of bandages and bruises. He asks, "When are you going to come out and tell me?" "Every day." "Who's hurting you?" "Yugi." "And it's Hanako!" Sorry. So we learned that Hanako's real name is Amane Yugi, and he's in pretty bad shape. Tsuchigamori-sensei is worried sick, pressing him for answers, but Hanako downplays it and brushes it off with, "It's fine, I don't mind." And then, out of nowhere, he says, "Sensei, I have a moon rock. It fell right in front of me one night when I was 4. Would you believe me if I said it was real?" Tsuchigamori-sensei, looking skeptical, listens as Hanako talks about the moon and how that rock is his treasure. He asks, "Have you ever wanted to go to the moon, Sensei?" "I've always thought it was so big and beautiful." He leans out a bit too far and Tsuchigamori-sensei freaks out and dashes toward him. But Hanako pushes his hand away and says, "Sensei, I know you worry about me. Can you do me this favor? Here, take this." He hands over his precious moon rock, saying, "When I look at this, it makes me feel like I can go anywhere, but I've decided not to go anywhere ever again." Then, the scene shifts back to the school infirmary where Nene-chan is lying down with Tsuchigamori-sensei beside her. She wakes up and asks about the memories she just saw. He explains that they are tied to the Yorishiro. When she asks who that person was who changed his future, Tsuchigamori-sensei replies, "That was Amane Yugi, who number 7 used to be." He continues about how back then going to the moon felt impossible. But since it became real, maybe any dream could come true. He reflects that while society was filled with hope, Hanako decided to go anywhere. Tsuchigamori-sensei had already known what was happening with Hanako because he read about his future in the book. It was written that Hanako would grow up to be a science teacher in the same school. He continues, "He shouldn't have died young, especially as a kid." Tsuchigamori-sensei looks crushed as he shared this with Nene-chan before he leaves her. A moment later, footsteps approach, and it's Hanako along with Ko and Yako. Hanako jumps into the bed and gives Nene-chan a big hug, celebrating her for breaking the Yorishiro. But Nene-chan looks upset, tears in her eyes, and hugs him back tightly. Inside, she's thinking, he has no body heat. I always knew Hanako was a ghost, that he was already dead, but I don't know what face to make. And honestly, I feel like Nene-chan. Knowing he's a ghost was one thing, but seeing this memory made him more real. It's just so heartbreaking. So sad to know that he's actually dead. Anyway, then Hanako gently pats her head but glances at Tsuchigomori-sensei's direction, even though he's not there, with a really intense look, clearly thinking he may have said too much. Later, he confronts Tsuchigomori-sensei and he simply acknowledges that he told Nene-chan about his yorishiro. But Hanako doesn't know what his yorishiro was. So, after class, Nene-chan is busy cleaning the bathroom, and Ko is there lending a hand. While they are tidying up, Hanako pops in and points out that Nene-chan has been acting a bit off lately. The next day, after class, Nene-chan is taking care of the school garden, and her mind keeps wandering to Hanako. She totally realized she's been a little strange around him lately, and after learning about Hanako's past, everything feels a lot more intense. I know, girl. As she lost in her thoughts, Ko strides in and asks her for a favor. He wants her to help him make some donuts, insisting that he's not exactly a culinary whiz. They head over to the school kitchen, and it's all messy. Ingredients are scattered everywhere, looking like a mini tornado hit it. On the table, the moke are hanging out too. One of them looks really queasy after sampling some dough, while the other is dramatically complaining. It's poison! Nene-chan was feeling pretty thankful to Ko. Since she had to clean the bathroom, she really didn't want to deal with Hanako. But Ko had stepped in and talked to him, which meant they could cook together instead. As they started cooking, Nene-chan opened up to Ko about the memory she saw at the 4 o'clock library. She told him the memory she can cover about Hanako and began to doubt if she should keep being friends with him. Minamoto-kun, she said, Hanako is dead. He's an evil spirit, a school wonder, and a murderer. It looked like he was bullied, and I think he might have stabbed someone in retaliation. He's always been hard to figure out and a bit scary at times, but this is way sadder than I thought. It's just too complicated. Yet, I can't bring myself to just walk away from him. I know I shouldn't dig too deep, but I cannot help wanting to know more about him. I really want to help him, even if he is a ghost and a murderer. Nene-chan glanced at Ko, looking for some advice. Ko thought for a moment before replying. I'm right there with you. I wasn't sure what to do either. Should I exercise him or not? What's the right thing to do? For now, instead of just thinking about what's right, I want to figure out what I want to do. We really are friends, right? Let's tackle this together. Just then, the donuts they were making were ready. As they were about to dig in, Teru-senpai showed up from behind Ko, complaining that he was the one who bought all the ingredients and should be sharing. He turned to Nene-chan and asked if she was also making donuts. She explained that she was there because Ko needed help in the kitchen, since he wasn't exactly a pro at cooking. Teru-senpai was just about to tell her that Ko was actually decent at cooking when Ko quickly shoved a donut in his mouth to keep him quiet. Turns out, Ko had asked Nene-chan for help with the donuts as a way to create a chance for her to make things right with Hanako. While they were talking, Ko noticed a moke sneaking to the bag of donuts. He quickly tossed the moke aside and added a few more donuts to the bag. Handing to the Nene-chan, he told her to give it to Hanako since they were his favorite. Nene-chan smiled and thanked him before heading off to find Hanako. Once Teru-senpai had finished his donuts, he teased Ko. Who's better at cooking? You handle all the chores at home. Just then, one of the moke dashed away from behind Teru-senpai, looking super suspicious. Teru-senpai caught sight of it and thought, I guess I'll just keep an eye on things for now. Meanwhile, that same moke was meeting up with Sakura and Natsuhiko, and Sakura asked, Did you manage to do it? The moke replied with pride, I'll grin. Now, Nene-chan meets Hanako on the roof, and she hands him the donuts bag. Hanako's face lights up. He's super excited. Not just about the yummy treats, but also because Nene-chan is acting more like herself again. He tells her that he's relieved, and that's when Nene-chan opens up about her strange behavior. She admits that she's thought a lot about things, and even though it's late, Hanako can be a bit of a headache sometimes. And she looks at him and says, "I like you, Hanako. So from now on, I'll stick by your side." Hanako blushes all the way up to his ears, but then Nene-chan quickly adds, "But just as a friend, because you're really not my type." Classic Nene-chan, right? Hanako, surprised, asks, "You really don't mind?" "Well, to be totally honest, when it comes to you, And of course, just when he's about to say something huge, something interrupts Dan. Nene-chan starts to open the donut bag, and out pops this black paper crayon, the black tsuru. Instantly, Hanako draws his knife and slices it in half. But then the tsuru bursts into black flames and transforms into this black ghostly orb. From the orb, a voice says, "Found you." Wow, that knife takes me back. You're planning to protect that girl, even though you took my life? Long time no see you. You haven't forgotten me, right, Amane? Then it reveals a figure that looks just like Hanako, even the clothes. The figure smirks and says, "I've got a great assistant, by the way. She helped me get all the way up here. So, Amane, are you happy to see me?" He reaches out to caress Hanako's face, and you can see Hanako is totally shaken by it. Without thinking, Nene-chan shoves Hanako aside and douses the creepy guy with her bottle of tea. Just like that, black smoke swirls around and he vanishes. Nene-chan turns to Hanako and asks, "Is he the one you killed?" At that moment, Hanako loses it. He pushes Nene-chan down to the ground and, with tears in his eyes, grabs her hands, overwhelmed. But then, just as quickly, he snaps back to reality, apologizes to her, and rushes off. Next, we shift to this hidden broadcast room that looks like it's on the edge of another world, like a boundary. Floating eyes, ears, and mouths are scattered around, and there we find Sakura and Natsuhiko. Natsuhiko is worried, wondering if letting the shrimp run wild was a smart move. He warns Sakura that if those three catch wind of them changing the rumors, they could end up in a serious showdown. Plus, he mentioned that Teru-senpai is already onto them. Suddenly, the smoky figure from before materializes again, and we discover he's actually Hanako's twin brother, Tsukasa. With a smirk, he leans in and asks Sakura, "So, what rumor are we spreading today?" Now, Ko and his two friends, Yoko and Sato, are walking over the shoe locker, and Yoko starts sharing this wild new rumor. He's all excited, saying, "They say there's a ghost popping up at the junior high entrance lately. Like, people say it grabs your arm while you're switching your shoes and says..." But just as he's about to finish, he goes, "Hey." And at that exact moment, a creepy voice chimes in right alongside him. It catches everyone off guard, and suddenly something grips Cole's arm, saying, "Hey, have you forgotten me?" At this point, Cole's friends totally freak out and dash off in panic. But Cole, being the brave one, grabs the ghost's hand and slams it against the wall, saying, "I've got you." Then he marched off to find Hanako, dragging the ghost along with him. Meanwhile, in the girls' bathroom, Nene-chan is busy with her usual cleaning routine, while Hanako, who's hanging out there, isn't saying a word. Nene-chan thinks to herself, "Hanako's acting all normal, but he's totally ignoring what happened yesterday. Guess I'll just do the same." Then Ko bursts in, all hero-like, with the ghost all tied up, and asks Hanako what he should do next. Hanako just casually mentioned that the ghost probably has some unresolved issues, which is why he's still hanging around. So Ko makes a run for it, holding on to the ghost, determined to help it deal with whatever's been bugging it. They found a spot to hide behind the staircase, and Ko starts chatting with the ghost, promising to help it sort out its regrets so it can finally move on. But out of nowhere, the ghost just snaps and yells, "Shut up, you lame-ass traffic safety earring!" Ko wears this earring as a good luck charm for traffic safety, by the way. The ghost goes on a rant saying, "Traffic safety my ass, were you in a crash that scrambled your brain? Spin 100 times and drop dead. Just because I'm weak doesn't mean you have the right to mess with me, you creep. I know what you're after. Just because I'm cute ghost doesn't mean you can get all handsy like it's some dirty video. You probably want to record me with your phone and threaten to share it online so you can have your way with me day and night. Just like in those videos. Just like in those videos." Wow, talk about overreacting. I mean, seriously, how would Cole even be able to record anything for the dirty videos? You know, it's just wild. Anyway, after trying a bunch of times and even throwing out a few threats, we finally find out the ghost's name. It's Sosuke Mitsuba. He tells Cole that he probably wanted to snap a photo before he passed away, and asks Cole if he could grab his camera from the photograph club, where it was donated. So, Mitsuba starts taking pictures of landscapes and animals, but Cole keeps nudging him to take some shots of people, specifically suggesting he could take one of him. But Mitsuba steps back and firmly says no. As they're bickering, Cole's friend Yoko pops up and asks what's going on. Cole just shrugs and says he's taking a picture. Yoko then notices Mitsuba's name on the camera and asks if he actually belongs to him. That's when Cole learns that Mitsuba died that winter in some kind of accident. Yoko mentions that Mitsuba was in their class during the first year, but Cole wouldn't remember him since they changed class in the second year. Suddenly, Cole recalls Mitsuba introducing himself when he was alive. He was sitting in front of Cole because of the name order. Mitsuba then shares his story, saying, "I call out to everyone I thought was my friend, but none of them recognized me. I remember them all, though." He explained how he was bullied in elementary school for being a bit girly and cocky, so when he got to junior high, he tried really hard to change things. He aimed to fit in, making himself friendly so no one would call him cocky. The problem is, this just made him blend into the background. He wasn't bullied anymore, but he ended up being just another face people barely noticed, without any real friends. The mood got pretty heavy as Mitsuba shared his story, and Cole, trying to lighten the mood, snapped. "You're cocky. You look girly. You're rude, selfish, loud, a totally camera geek. Sometimes gloomy, and you act like someone you're not." If someone asked me to describe Sosuke Mitsuba, that's what I would say. "Sorry, I didn't notice you before. You seemed different when we met. Maybe trying so hard isn't the way to go? Just be yourself. I mean, yeah, you got some issues, but I don't hate you." Mitsuba just sighed and said, "It's too late for that now." Even still, Mitsuba kept snapping photos on the mid-lane of the staircase where they were, asking, "If I were still alive, could we have been friends?" To which Cole replied, "Just because you're dead doesn't mean we can't be friends." In that moment, Mitsuba took a photo of Cole while he was turned away. Cole spun around asking, "Oh, where are you shooting? The sky?" Mitsuba replied quietly, "Well, something that means a lot to me, I guess." Oh. So they're all set to meet up the next day when suddenly Tsukasa pops up out of nowhere. He tells Mitsuba that he can't just run off without giving him a heads up. Then, Out of nowhere, Tsukasa steps right up to Mitsuba and throws his hand into his chest, creating this massive hole. It's intense. Ko, seeing this happen, leaps in to throw a punch at Tsukasa, but Tsukasa shoves Ko's head against the wall, and then he taunts Mitsuba, saying, "Hey, you made a wish to me, right? You wanted everyone to remember you." Ko keeps trying to get Tsukasa to let go of his friend, but Tsukasa goes on. "I'm on operation. I grant wishes to whoever summons me, and I take one thing in return. While Amane grants wishes for the living, I do it for the dead. He made a wish, and I'm here to make it happen, in my own way." Just like that, a radio appears. Tsukasa then contacts Sakura, saying everything's ready. She responds, "Got it. Broken neck of the entrance." There is this ghost with a broken neck who haunts the junior high entrance. He's super lonely and might try to talk to you, saying, "Hey, have you forgotten me?" If you don't say his name in response, he will break your neck and turn you into him. While Sakura is spreading this new rumor, Mitsuba is on the floor, writhing in pain, and he suddenly transforms into a monster. Tsukasa explains that Mitsuba's wish was pretty vague. He wasn't sure what he wanted to stick around for, but he definitely didn't want it all end like this. What he really wanted was for everyone to remember him. Tsukasa goes on. "With a wish like that, I could only turn him into something half-formed. But things are different now. You helped bring out Mitsuba's true wish for me. The stronger the wish, and the more regret tied to it, the more powerful and defined the apparition can be. Mitsuba's wish is simple. I want friends. I want to be with my friends forever and ever." Then, Tsukasa turns to Mitsuba and says cruelly, "If that boy ends up just like you can be together forever." I mean, wow. Could he be any more heartless? He adds, "Whatever you want, and no matter how much you hurt to get it, I'll forget it all. But the price for your wish is reason." Just then, Mitsuba, the monster, lunges at Ko. Meanwhile, Hakujo Dai, the ghostly orb from Hanako, cues him that something is not right. We watch as Hanako swoops in to save Ko, stabbing the monster and rescuing him. Tsukasa spots Hanako and gets all hyped up to see him. But then Hanako grabs Tsukasa by the collar and pushes him against the window, demanding, "Why would you do this, Tsukasa?" Tsukasa just smirks and replies, "I think I like how people look when they stop holding it on in." While still holding Hanako's hand, he adds, "That moment was great. You know, the time you killed me?" And we see this quick flashback of Hanako on top of Tsukasa, blood everywhere. He finished with, "I love you, Amane. Won't you play together like we used to?" Then, just like that, he vanishes. Ko was holding Mitsuba's body in his arms, calling out for him. Desperately, he turned to Hanako and said, "You can bring him back, right? Just like you did with the Misaki stairs." Hanako's face fell, showing his deep sadness, but Ko kept pleading, "Mitsuba, this isn't you. The Mitsuba I know is cocky, looks kinda girly, rude, selfish, and super loud. He loves cameras, can be a bit gloomy, and honestly, he fakes it sometimes, but he's my friend." That was when the tears started to flow from Ko and he broke down completely. Seeing Ko so crushed, Hanako's expression turned serious and he replied, "It's pointless, boy. Listen, death is the end. Just because you're wandering around as a spirit in the world of the living, doesn't mean you're still alive. When you die, that's it. There's no comeback, no new beginnings. No matter how much you regret things or wish you could change stuff, if you couldn't do it in life, you cannot do it after death either. That's just how it works. If you try to fight against it, you could end up like Mitsuba here." Then, in a haunting moment, Hanako stabbed Mitsuba's body again with his knife. How much sadder can you get? Like, how unfair for Mitsuba since he was already dead and now he doesn't exist anymore. It's like he died twice. And just like that, Mitsuba's body vanished, leaving behind only his camera. Later on, Ko found himself in his bedroom, looking through the pictures that Mitsuba had taken. As he flipped through the photos, one in particular caught his eye. It was a shot of them standing at the mid-length of the stairs. That moment rushed back to him when he asked Mitsuba what he was capturing, and Mitsuba had replied, "Something that means a lot to me, I guess." And it is the picture of him. It was all just so heartbreaking. I just wanna cry. Now, Nene-chan is just chilling in class when Aoi-chan comes up to her all excited. She's like, "Hey, someone's looking for you, and he's super cool." Nene-chan looks over and sees a bunch of girls clustered around this guy by the door. And of course, her mind starts swirling with thoughts. Could it be that he's going to confess to her? That's what she's thinking. When she finally gets to him, it turns out to be Natsuhiko. The only time they interacted before was a quick bump in the hallway when he secretly put on that black tutu on her. As they stroll outside the classroom, Nene-chan cannot help but wonder what he wants from her. Then he casually mentions that someone wants to meet her because she's special. Just as he's saying this, he picks up a goldfish bowl full of water that was sitting on the floor. Nene-chan's like, "Why are you carrying a goldfish bowl?" And he replies with a smirk, "Why do you think?" At this point, Nene-chan is starting to freak out a little. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Tsukasa sneaks up behind her and dumps a bucket of water all over her, and she turns into a fish. Tsukasa grabs her by the tail and jokes about swallowing her, which just sends Nene-chan into full-on panic mode, and she ends up fainting. When she finally wakes up, she finds herself tied to a chair, completely changed, in a room with water on the floor. Yeah, definitely feels like she's on some boundary now. In front of her, there's a table set with tea and snacks, and then Sakura walks in, looking all casual. She says she told the other two to be nice to Nene-chan. Nene-chan gasps. "Wait, you are from that time Hanako's girlfriend?" Just then, Tsukasa barges in, shouting, "You're dating Yamane, Sakura!" Natsuhiko chimes into, all wide-eyed with disbelief. "No way, right? Is that true?" They just won't let it go and keep bugging her about it. Finally, Sakura gets fed up, lashes out, and says, "I'm not dating him." So Sakura stepped up to introduce herself. She said, "I'm Sakura Nanamine, a high school third year. And like you, I'm just a regular human who made a deal with an apparition for a wish. The bond I formed is with this boy," as she gestured toward Tsukasa. Now, Nene-chan was trying hard to keep her guard up, convincing herself that neither of these three was going to pull a fast on her. But fast forward just 30 minutes and she's already chatting about Hanako. Oh girl, control yourself. They began swapping facts about Hanako and Tsukasa, totally bond over it. That's when she discovered that Tsukasa is actually Hanako's twin brother. And just like that, Nene-chan realized she was slipping into a casual girl talk vibe, lowering her defenses. In the middle of their chit-chat, Nene-chan was still trying to understand why they kidnapped her. Then, out of nowhere, Tsukasa gave Sakura this intense look and said, "Sakura." She got flustered, visibly upset, and turned to Nene-chan to say, "Neither of us has it easy. As long as our bonds exist, we cannot go against our master's orders, no matter how much we want to." Nene-chan felt a sense of relief wash over her at this shared understanding and blurted out, "Whenever I say no to Hanako, he tries to turn me into a fish." And Sakura nodded. "I totally get that." Nene-chan was surprised, asking, "You too, Sakura?" Yeah, that's why. I'm sure you will understand. But just when things were getting real, Nene-chan's chair transformed into this monstrous thing with 3 mouths that clamped down on her, locking her in place. Water started to fill the room. Sakura said, I really don't want to do this. I wish I could help you, but I have to follow his orders. And Tsukasa chimed in. Amane and Nar are like completely opposites. To put it simply, we are rivals? Arch enemies? It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'd like you to disappear now. As they were saying their goodbyes, both Natsuhiko and Nene-chan shouted, Wait! That's when Nene-chan noticed Natsuhiko was stuck in a similar situation, chained into a chair right next to her. Shocked, she exclaimed, Natsuhiko, what are you doing here? He chuckled calmly. Sakura can be a bit harsh sometimes, but it's just me. She doesn't act like this with anyone else. And with a grin said, It must be love. Honestly, at that point, I wasn't sure who was more Delulu. So the room starts sinking even lower, and poor Nene-chan starts to freak out. She calls out for Hanako, but before she knows it, she's sunk all the way down. Suddenly, she and Natsuhiko find themselves in a strange place filled with a bunch of doors. Nene-chan is muttering to Natsuhiko, wondering if this might be some kind of boundary. But there's no water on the ground. Just then, she hears a familiar voice coming from a radio. A moke had brought it to her. The voice says, I don't think it's quite the same as a boundary. Nene-chan's heart skips a beat, thinking Hanako has come to rescue her, but it turns out he's only talking through the radio. He continues, I guess you got tricked again. Honestly, the instant I take my eyes off you, you go straight for hot guys and apparitions. What a hopeless assistant. Feeling a bit embarrassed, she apologizes. Then he starts explaining her situation. I'm not sure how long this signal will last, so I'll keep it quick. You're in a place that's not the land of the living or the dead, nor even a boundary. It's nowhere. It's both everywhere and nowhere. This is important. You can reach anywhere in the past or future from it. It's a real hassle. I'll do my best to save you by using Airbound and getting Hakuja to look for you. But listen, this place is massive, so I want you to do your part. He goes on. You see all those doors? Each one leads to a different place in a different world. Somewhere in there should be a door that connects back to your original world. I need you to find that door and open it, but only open the doors you recognize. Some of them lead to really dangerous places, so be careful. And just like that, the connection cut off. But Natsuhiko, not really listening to Hanako's warning, starts opening random doors without a second thought. Before long, he opens one that has a terrifying monster lurking behind it, and just like that, he gets dragged in and vanishes. So, there's Nene-chan, all alone with the Mokus, pondering which door to open. She feels like there should be a clearer sign somewhere, but just then she hears some music playing. Excited, she races towards it and flings open the nearest door, only to be greeted by a giant red monster face screaming at her. Terrified, she quickly shuts the door. The Mokus then pointed out that there's actually another door behind the one she just opened. She realized it's a classroom door from the old school building. When she opens it, the music gets louder and it turns out to be the evening announcement. As she scans the room, she spots a boy crouched in the corner by the curtains, crying. Who are you? He asks. And she recognizes him. It's Hanako! But this is Hanako when he was still alive. He looks all bruised and she rushes over asking, Are you hurt? What happened? Were you crying? But before she can get answers, he runs out of the classroom, dropping a key with a rock-shaped keychain attached to it. Nene-chan quickly picks up the key, but just as she's about to call out to Hanako, the Hakujodai appears and she hears Hanako's voice saying, Found you. And we see a calendar on the floor and it's Friday, July 18th, 1969. In a blink, she's back in the girls' bathroom. Hanako looks at her and says, "Excuse me a second," before giving her a hug. Then he adds, "Sorry, I've been meaning to apologize for ruining your donuts the other day. Will you forgive me?" Nene-chan replies with a simple, "Yes," although she doesn't mention the key she's still holding onto, as she thinks to herself, "Whenever I was in danger or trouble, Hanako always came to my rescue. I wish I could protect him too." Oh, it's a super sweet moment. Then the scene shifts to Tsukasa, who's being his usual creep self. He's doodling on the wall with a black ink, and it looks like he's mumbling to himself. Now, what should I do next? I know. Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah, I think that's good. He turns around and stares at a mirror where an arm is drawn. He adds, "Nee, I hope this time it comes true." This Tsukasa is just too creepy. And that wraps up episodes 6 to 9. Things are definitely getting darker. Tsukasa gives me major chills. I can't wait to dive into the next episode with you all. So if you're enjoying these deep dives, hit the like button, subscribe, and become an official kitsune in the Kitsune. Until next time, bye bye!